Mike Bluehair here for Film the Police Portland. Yesterday, I was trying to film and cover my friend Keith Davis's jury trial when I had an encounter with two Multnomah County Sheriff's deputies. But before I get into that, let me tell you what Keith's jury trial was about. What Keith was talking about was a bunch of stuff that various council members do not want to hear. Keith Davis brought up the fact that a known rich plutocrat named Terry Bean in our city, he's a real estate guy, contributed lots of money to various council members. So in an effort to, what I believe, cover up the fact that Keith was talking about these links between this known pedophile, this controversial figure named Terry Bean, the mayor ordered council chambers to be closed and they had security drag him out. What you're looking at is a video loop of Keith Davis being shoved from behind by a security guard before he was even asked to leave the building. See, a guy named Joe Walsh made a disruption in city council and the council chambers were closed. Then Keith starts asking some of these questions about Terry Bean and the war on cop watchers, and then he becomes a target of security. Well, in the course of the security dragging Keith out of the building, Keith's arm got bloodied by one of the security guards. Keith ends up wiping some of his blood on the wall when he's being dragged out of the building. Okay, City Hall charges Keith, and what I mean by City Hall is I believe this is a conspiracy between the mayor's office and all these other people to just shut Keith up because they're sick and tired of having him talk about these things that the public should know. The public should know who's taking money from these creepy, rich pedophile folks. Okay, so I digress. Let me go back. So I was trying to narrate between breaks in the courtroom as to what was going on. You see, Keith subpoenaed the mayor, the transportation council members, Chloe Daly, Nick Fish, 4 city council members. He subpoenaed to speak because they were in the room and they were the ones that ordered council chambers to be closed. So Keith had them subpoenaed to show up in court. Well, Keith's lawyer and the DA and the judge talked about it, and the judge decided that it's irrelevant that these council members have to speak and testify at Keith's jury trial. So I'm there in the hallway and I'm explaining this to my viewers, and between takes, I'm sitting at a chair and 2 Multnomah County Sheriff's deputies come walking by with a chain gang of prisoners. I'm just sitting there quietly. None of the prisoners seem to be agitated from me filming, yet the first deputy puts her hand over her face like this, like she's ashamed to be filmed. And then the deputy at the end of the chain gang reaches out and attempts to commit a crime called robbery here in Oregon. I'll leave a link to that below this video. So she actually physically grabs my phone and I pull it away. You can hear it and see it in the video where you can hear the sound of me pulling my phone out of her hand. So they continue walking and they end up taking the prisoners around a corner. I want to finish my video, so I walk towards the doors where Keith's jury trial is about to begin from its break. And those same 2 deputies are in the stairwell behind a door. So I turn to them briefly for a second because I'm trying to turn the camera around and finish my narration. And they step out and get in my face really quickly and basically try to use physicality and body language in a way that's going to gaslight me into reacting. So that's what you're about to watch right now. So the prosecution argued that the city council members that ordered Keith to be removed from council chambers, they're apparently irrelevant witnesses. So yeah, Keith Davis goes to city council meeting, talks about how a pedophile is giving our city council members a bunch of money. They have him thrown out of the building and brutalized. And according to the judge and the prosecutor, city council members are not going to have to testify, although there were witnesses in the room to watch what happened to Keith, and they ordered him out because of them trying to cover up their links to this pedophile Terry Bean. But yeah, that's irrelevant. That's really, really great. The tyranny never ends.
Really? blessed day, sir.
Blessed day.
Blessed day.
How y'all doing?
Are you recording? Are you recording? You cannot be recording
You
this.
cannot be touching me.
cannot
Keep your
be
hands off my
recording
body.
us.
Yes, I can.
No, you cannot be recording this.
Oh, really? What law am I breaking by recording you?
This is a jail, sir.
This is
a
a public
jail.
space. You
Okay.
cannot
No,
touch
this
me.
is a public space. I'm not
Please,
touching you.
Please do not.
I'm not
Look,
touching
you backed me into a corner.
No, you're the
and
one
you're
that
like
stood in front of me.
intimidating me.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I have 40,000 YouTube subscribers. Get ready to be famous.
I hope you make a lot of money off that.
What's your name?
Get that. What's
No,
your name?
I don't have to tell you
Can
anything.
I follow you?
Sure you can.
Who are
You can't intimidate me though.
No, I'm just asking who you
Your
are.
pig breath is like literally like 2 inches away from my face.
know, I just ate a power bar.
Can you let me free? You're keeping me detained here actually. Can I go? Can I escape?
Absolutely.
Thank you. So I'm editing out the expletives I said right here, but I'm going to run this in slow motion and tell you guys a few things about how this made me feel and how I believe they're trying to get me to react. First of all, they rush at me very quickly, and I'm taking steps backwards now to get away from them so they don't run right into me, and now I'm pressed up against a wall. And notice how close she is to me. Her foot is literally about 1.5 inches away from mine, and I can feel her breath on my face. And that's when I said, you know, your pig breath is in my face. Like, this is obviously meant to gaslight me into reaction. And then if I do react, then they have a reason to arrest me. You know, this is just ridiculous. All I was doing was trying to narrate what was going on in the courtroom to my YouTube viewers, and I have to deal with this kind of harassment and intimidation. This is what it's like to be a citizen journalist in America. You get treated like this. So long story short, I went to sit down in the courtroom and continue filming. And by the way, the judge granted permission to film inside the courtroom for the cop watchers that were there. But I went in, sat down, and I was confronted by 6 deputies later, and they threw me out of the building and gave me a 24-hour trespass notice. One of the deputies was also kind enough to write down the Oregon Revised Statute for disorderly conduct as if though I was the one being disorderly. I don't believe I was being disorderly, and I'd like to ask the audience to ask yourselves a question. What's more disorderly, sitting there quietly narrating a video you want to upload to the internet, doing citizen journalism, sitting in a chair, or reaching out and grabbing to snatch something out of someone's hand? She didn't tell me I wasn't allowed to film. She just tries to snatch it out of my hand and then tells me that. Then later they use their bodies to force me up against a wall, knowing full well that if somebody even touches a cop, they'll get criminal charges. But enough about me. Let's talk about Keith and his jury trial. His trial will be over in the next day or two, and whether or not Keith wins this case or not doesn't change the fact that City Hall still wins. They've been able to keep him out of City Hall talking about Terry Bean and the fact that he's funneling money to various city council members for 6 months. He's had pretrial release conditions set on him that kept him out of City Hall for 6 months because, quote unquote, the City Hall is a victim. The actual building is a victim of Keith's alleged crime. So the way the system is set up now is that you can be intimidated, physically assaulted, jailed, tied up in the court system for daring to speak out about the real avenues of power in Portland, Oregon. And that is the quote-unquote stakeholders in our community and these rich real estate types that so happen to like to screw kids as a hobby. Thanks for watching, people.
Bye.